Is it because it has got to do with Shatta Wale and the fact that a lot of people in the industry don't just like Shatta Wale? So because of that, even if someone does something wrong, which glares in the face, we still somehow find words to swim around it. What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Mordin, and I'm back again with another entertainment news update right here for you. Charlie, let's get straight into it. Sorry for a long time. I've had an issue with my throat, but I'm back with some reviews and things that I find worthy commenting on, etc. You know. So I was actually scrolling through Instagram and I stumbled on this piece by 3Music. Now, they were talking about security, and Miss G also made a contribution with regards to a question J. Foley asked, right, about which of the A-listers has, or which of the Ghanaian artists has the best security team. And her answer was rather baffling to one of the most interesting, or the most how do we call it? I don't even know how to put it, but one of the most toxic moment caught ever on Ghanaian TV regarding our entertainment industry, which involves Stonebwoy and Shatta Wale at one of the VGMAs awards night with the gun. You know, you all remember that thing, right? So here is it. I'll be playing the video. I'll be rolling it on the screen as well, but let's hear what Miss G has to say, and then I will also chip in as to my thoughts on this, because I want you to follow the conversation as well, so that you also leave in a comment section what exactly you're also thinking with this, right? Serial also made a contribution. We'll also hear from him and then we'll take it. So let's get into it.
So which Ghanaian artist do we say likely have we seen to have the best security team around him?
Based on what happened at the VGMA, maybe I'll say Stone. Based on what happened, because there was somebody there, armed, ready to whatever.
The best security is the one that is not seen. I'll say sack.
So for me, based on what happened that day, it means that the people who are around him, based on that, because that's what I've seen with my eyes.
The reaction
tells that they are on a defensive. Like, they didn't even care.
I don't remember, were they in uniform? Or
they weren't in uniform, okay. But you don't know whether they are
security.
Exactly.
Or just,
but what happened?
And I want you guys to pay attention to her body language when she started answering the question. It's quite funny though.
And the reason I'm making reference to that is the way the guy was alert, saw somebody coming, felt the person was coming to attack, and then covered him and gave him a pistol.
Yeah.
You know, that is a big deal. Like, how do you even go into such setting with that in mind? It means that always they're on the guard.
Let me debunk what you
said. We cannot say also for sure that the other people do not go around with that. But that's what I'm saying. Per what I saw and how it happened, how reactive they were, and even the thought.
You know, what I think Serial was trying. You see, at the beginning, there were a few. You can hear from the contributions, right? At the very beginning, some were trying to stop her from going that line, but she wanted to keep going because she thought what she had to say was intelligent, brilliantly said, right? Let's continue.
Of like, we are going into a space like this, there's likely for something like this to happen. So even when I'm going on the stage, when you're going on the stage, I'm going with you just for cover. You understand? Because normally people go, you know, so that's what I'm thinking. That's so for the king.
How do you go to an event, right? How do you go to an event like VGMAs now? And the first security flaw was the fact that they allowed someone to come into an enclosed space with the public audience with a gun. That is very dangerous. So for you, a so-called media personality, a so-called pundit on radio, who people listen to, who people take your word for what it is, what you're slightly doing here is to encourage artists to actually take guns with them into such spaces where civilians, people who are just in to have fun, have just come to actually spend their time, energy, money to want to enjoy people they follow. You're basically encouraging artists and their security entourage, whatever, to come into such venues with a gun. And that poses a security threat to anybody that comes into that auditorium, right? The funny part of it is that if Stonebwoy and his crew will be allowed to come in with a gun, and everybody else is also allowed to come in with a gun, are we safe? For the audience, for people who are coming for the show, etc., are we safe? That is the number one question. Now, what if an audience is also able to bring a gun in, sneaks a gun in, and nobody sees it, right? And let's say that person doesn't like Stonebwoy, that person doesn't like Shatta Wale, that person doesn't like Sarkodie, and wants to use the gun in there. Will you, Miss V, then be of the opinion that our event organizers should be security minded or conscious? That's my question. You get it? Because what you are inadvertently sitting on radio saying, which also there's a camera, so it's a video with your face on there. Will you attend any event where everybody is supposed to have a gun to protect themselves? When I say everybody, I mean the artist. But now that you are saying this online, the fact that you are encouraging artists to say that is the best security to have it, then as if I'm going to any of such events, I'm also entitled to protect myself. Because for what we've seen in Ghana, nobody cares about your protection but yourself, right? And so that is the biggest pointer right here. Is it because it has got to do with Shatta Wale and the fact that a lot of people in the industry don't just like Shatta Wale? So because of that, even if someone does something wrong which glares in the face, we still somehow find words to swim around it and act as if everything else is fine. Miss G, this is very, very wrong. I know you're doing well, especially this big convo you guys do have on 3 Music Awards. I like the quality. I like the way you guys try to bring up conversations that are worth having in the industry. It is good. But before you speak, you need to be careful about the things you're saying, because one of the things that you guys are pushing is that you're pushing a cultural agenda for our music industry with the type of conversation, open-ended conversations you guys have on the platform. This very one right here is a low blow and shouldn't have been said. This shouldn't have been coming from you at all costs. No, it shouldn't have been. But you know, this is where artists will, when you say something like this, what if Stonebwoy had shot at Shatta Wale? Would you have been happy? You know, we know Shatta Wale likes to be who he is. He likes to rant sometimes, etc. But when have you seen in the entire Ghana music industry till date that Shatta Wale has been very physically abusive to anybody? There was just one incident, and that was to his own security, right? There was one incident, I think, at the stadium where his own security wasn't paying attention and somebody came on the stage rushing him, so he slapped the security, right? His own security, to put him in order, right? But we've had incidents where Stonebwoy had pulled gun at least, I think at least 3 times or maybe 2 times. One has when he was with Xylophone, the whole thing with the nightclub thing with Bulldog involved, etc., and the VGMA stuff, right? These things are not things that must be encouraged just because we lean towards one side and we don't lean towards the other. It's not good. It's not good. And for an artist to hire a security team to protect him, I think their number one focus is to protect him, right? Is to protect him. So you are losing sight of the conversation. you're losing sight of the conversation. The best security team is to protect him, not to hand him the gun to protect himself. That is stupidity. And that alone flaws the whole argument, right? It flaws it because... anyway, let me continue. Let's listen to it.
It's a wild guess because
I'm saying that because of what I've seen.
The evidence you
That
provided
is why.
100%.
Yeah, because of what I've seen, that's what I will say. Because what I've not seen, I cannot see.
This is what I'll say about that and why I say it's flawed. With the little I know, when you're protecting a high value asset, which would be Stonebwoy, and there's an altercation or there's a risk, you evacuate the high value asset immediately.
You see the point. And this is an artist. This guy is an artist. Serial is an artist. Coming again to the point, this is one of the reasons why Shatta Wale keeps advocating that we shouldn't just let people come to radio to talk, people who have no experience in the music business whatsoever. You know, you can be a journalist, right? But what qualifies a person to be a pundit on radio, on TV, etc.? What qualifies a person, you know? If you've been an artist, right? You've been in the musical realm, you've recorded songs, you've been with artists, you know how they think creatively, you know the stress they go through, you know a lot of the things they go through. You have a lot of power to like criticize them, right? When it comes to certain topics, right? But there are other topics too where you don't have to be a musician to advise someone. You can actually advise someone, right? For example, if you are from the financial world and you want to advise artists on how to keep their money out, whatever, you can do that because you understand finance, right? But when it comes to the artistry and what goes into the minds of the artists, you should at least have an insight. And that is why it is good to have some of this conversation, but at the same time, have people on there to help with the conversation, to steer the conversation in the right direction. People who matter. And in this case, I like the contribution of Serial in this very case.
If it was a vice president, if it was a president, if it was a Dana boy, if it was a Davido, you don't give a pistol to Davido to join the fight and increase the risk. You shield him and evacuate him, and security takes the heat. So the error there, they might have been present, they might have been reactive, they might have been vigilant, but the error was when they took a weapon and handed it to the guy who they should have been rushing to the back.
Yes, and that for me flawed the whole thing. I will just let it be right here. Right? That for me flawed the whole thing. And so when you're talking about who has the best security, it's definitely not Stonebwoy. It's definitely not Stonebwoy. He should, in fact, he should fire his whole team, you know. And I think this conversation is stemming up from the Breakfast Club conversation that Stonebwoy was saying that he is naturally defensive, you know. Everybody is naturally defensive. Nobody wants anything to happen to them. And that is also the reason why we say for the gun culture, anybody who wants to reach in for a gun should have emotional intelligence. It is very, very important, you know. When you're going into auditoriums, this leaves us with a lot of things to think about because we have to think holistically about our entertainment industry and how it is growing. And now that we're having a lot of foreigners coming into the country with regards to December in Ghana, etc., you have a lot of people coming from the United States and they have a gun culture, right? And so you won't be surprised to see how people come into such places. We've had a few incidents where people were shot at the nightclubs in Ghana, right? And these are places that needs to be protected so that people can just go there purely to have fun, right? And so, yeah, Ms. G, you're doing a great work, but this one wasn't a good one. It wasn't a good one at all. It wasn't a good one. And I hope we can come up with more interesting conversation, but also when we are talking about things that has to do with the interest of our interest or the greater good of the entertainment industry in Ghana, we should think and speak holistically on the issue without having ties to anybody. That way we can express ourselves in the best way possible to align forces to make sure that we are able to bring the positives out of every situation and also speak constructively about the negatives in the same vein, you know, so that we can bring proper solutions to the industry in a good way. So this is just my take on this. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. My name will forever remain Mordin, and as you know, on this platform, on this channel, Whenever anybody comes to you with a negative vibe, turn around with a smile and say, peace out.